Oh. Good morning, everybody. YouTube Live. Mm. Woo! Even water tastes kind of strong when you just woke up. Uh, um, today's Friday, September. I'm sorry, not September. November 22nd, um, 2019, and that means a new episode of Star Wars series The Mandalorian has arrived. And so I'm here to talk to you a bit about it. It's kind of funny when these episodes don't have titles, you know? They're just like chapters, chapters one, two, and now today it's chapter three. Um, well, I stand corrected. There are titles for these episodes, but if you see them trending on Twitter, the titles are not the ones that are trending. It's the chapters, the chapter three, chapter four, and the title for this one is "The Sin." Now, by the way, this review is mainly for those of you, my fellow Star Wars fans, who've also watched today's The Mandalorian episode. So if you haven't watched it yet, go watch it. You know, because there'll be spoilers in this review, and you don't want spoilers, right? So for those of you who watch it, the sin. What sin? Obviously, it's the sin against the guilt. And you know what? For all the things that are awesome about this show, um, one thing is for certain: the Mandalorian is predictable. I'm not saying that in a bad way, all right? I'm just saying that it's kind of formulaic. You can expect. The, there are still up to this point, even after chapter three, there are no surprises. You know that he's the kind of guy. He, as in the Mando, the lead character. He follows your typical uh, lead superhero, not superhero. I'm sorry, lead character, hero, or protagonist, where all they care about is the job, right? They're just like, oh, day in day out, give me something to so I can get paid for. I'll do it for the coin. I won't care for anybody or anything else, but that's it. And then something comes along that triggers something in him, and then he cares. You've seen this storyline, you've seen this kind of movie, you've seen this kind of show before. Um, you've seen this kind of character before. I'm binge watching Netflix show The Witcher. I'm not allowed to talk much about it, but it has the same formula as well. You know, so the Mando fits that. You know, the guy who's supposed to just like be really, really good at what he does and not show any empathy or sympathy or grow, some kind of caring feeling for whoever. No, he's supposed to be just like he's supposed to just live and die by the jobs that he takes on. Um, but something happens in this case, the baby Yoda, and it triggers in him because in this episode, like he remembers his past, how he's abandoned as a kid because it was in the middle of a battle and his parents died, and so he sees himself in that baby Yoda. It's like I was that kid, I can't abandon him, you know. It's always that way. It's always that. Even it even reminds me of the some of the Western movies I've seen in the past that have where the heroes have the same characteristics or same traits as Mando. Um, so yeah, there are a couple of. Oh, by the way, before I move on, um, gotta give shout out or credit or praise, if you will, to director Deborah Chow, who is now officially, I believe, the first female director who's ever helmed a live action Star Wars, be it movie or show. So, congratulations, Deborah Chow. I looked up Deborah's resume. She's directed a lot of TV series over the years, a lot of TV shows, many of which are your favorites. She's directed, I think, one or two movies, but way like maybe a decade ago. She mostly directs TV now. So congratulations to Deborah Chow for being the first female to have ever directed a live action Star Wars, be it movie or show. So yeah, okay. There's a couple of shootouts that happen in this episode. The first one, of course, is when well, let's call him Mando, all right? Because that's what Carl Weathers' character calls him. When Mando busts in Werner Herzog's place again to in order to retrieve Baby Yoda, because in the beginning of the episode he gives Baby Yoda to them, and then he gets this massive bounty, not bounty, massive reward, if you will, and then he turns that reward into his armor, which is brand spanking new, the Whistling Bird, and that's how they do it, right? That's how the guild does their thing. They don't. If you get your reward for whatever work you do, if you get that much reward, because apparently that equals something to, I don't know, something that's worth really really big. You probably spend it on what? You probably spend it on the latest Nike shoes. I would probably spend it on freaking a leather jacket. I need a leather jacket. Mine's already rust up and worn out. Um, so that's what we would do, right? We would spend that money. But Mando and his and his guild, what they do is like, all right, we're gonna take this and we're gonna turn it into our armor, and that's kind of, I guess that's kind of cool. But I'm like, oh man, the advice from Carl Weathers' character when he says like, enjoy, take a breather, take a vacation. Look, I got the same money right here in my pocket. Like I'm gonna be spending it. Like that advice kind of sounds much better than turning that shit into an armor. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I don't have need for an armor. I guess so I can't relate. I cannot relate at all. Um, but what I was gonna say? So the first shootout. So he comes back to retrieve the Baby Yoda. It's awesome. The shootouts on this show so far have not yet disappointed me. I mean, from the get go in the first episode, remember when Mando and the droid bounty hunter having that massive epic shootout with the guys outside the compound in which Baby Yoda's in. That was fantastic, and this one's fantastic too. Um, I love how the new weapon that Mando has in his armor, the Whistling Bird armor. Because at one point he gets cornered right by the troopers, and I was like, oh man, how's he gonna get himself out of this? And then you see him do his weapon, and then he comes out and just like the thing targets the troopers like precisely. I was like, whoa. One can make an argument like that's too convenient. That was way too convenient that you guys that you have that thing where it just tracks where the troopers are. I was like, oh, it's badass, but at the same time, it's like really, it's kind of too convenient. Such a weapon to exist. Um, the second shootout happens outside when Carl Weathers' character and the other guys. By this point, this reminds you of John Wick. Remember John Wick at the end of John Wick 2, I believe. Um, yeah, where uh, where all the other assassins in the city, right? By the end of John Wick 2, they're like, oh, there's a price on John Wick's head. It's like, oh, sweet. the hunter becomes the hunted, or the bounty hunter has become the bounty himself in this case. And so everybody in town uh, is like, they get this alert, and Mando has target, on his head, and so they surround him, and the shootout happens, which is awesome. It involves, I think, a droid land speeder, and so yeah, another shootout scene that I think is excellent, and just like the giant eagles at the end of the Hobbit movie, or the where they swoop in and save the hobbits right in the nick of time before they die on the edge of the cliff. In comes the rest of the bounty hunters, and try to save uh, Mando, because hey, we may disagree, but you're one of us. That sort of a deal. And so it ends with Carl Weathers coming into the ship, and of course, you know what happens there. I'm glad that Carl Weathers is not dead yet. His character's not dead yet. That's awesome. Because I want to see more of him. I think he's fantastic. I've interviewed Carl Weathers once. I'll share the link down below so you can watch my interview with Carl Weathers. That was like a couple of years ago, I believe. Really cool guy. One of the nicest guys I've ever interviewed. So yeah, fantastic. Another fantastic episode. Great two shootout scenes. Baby Yoda once again is adorable. the the part where he climbs out of the crib to kind of play with one of the spaceships, one of Mando's spaceships knobs. Oh my god, I almost died. It's just so he's so adorbs, man. I mean, I remember last week one tweet went trending. Like it had like 2,000 likes, maybe a couple of thousand more retweets. And this guy who tweeted it, he doesn't even have that many followers, so, on his Twitter feed. But his tweet went trending because it says, or I should say, maybe it's a she. Her tweet went trending. She said, something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, of course, I would lay down my life for Baby Yoda. And then there's a adorable picture of Baby Yoda. Everybody just loves the tweet and retweets it. And she's right. I mean, Baby Yoda is just so. We get it. We get it why the Mandalorian wants to rescue this baby, wants to put his life in the line or put his life at risk for this baby. Not just because it reminds him of when he was a kid. That you know like how defenseless a kid is or a baby is, so he can relate. Not only that, but God, that thing is so adorable. Even if you don't have a past or a background like the Mando, um, you would still kind of like do whatever you can to make sure that Baby Yoda is safe, because just like L'Oreal says, he's worth it. Or she's worth it. It's worth it. The baby's worth it. So that's it. The only thing that I have not I guess you can call it a complaint. Um the episodes are too short. Don't you feel it that way? I feel like it's too short. Like I clocked the time, I clocked the runtime for this episode today, and it was only like 37 minutes. 37 minutes. I mean, it's not even a full hour. It's not even 45. You know what I'm saying? 37. I think the ending credit runs long as well. So I was like, really? I know we got to recognize all those people who work really hard on this show, but that's fine. You can have that long ending credit, but can you also give us a meatier, a longer episode as well? But you know what? The counter argument to that is that you can say, "Hey, I'd rather have, I'd rather the episode be 37 minutes long only. as opposed to the show um, doing things that are not necessary just to fill itself out. You know what I'm saying? Some shows would have 45 or 59 minute runtime, and you watch the episode and you can find two or three scenes about it that you feel like they should have been left in the cutting room floor. It's like, why do we need these time wasters? So I get it. I get it. So that's the counter argument. But I don't know. I guess because the episodes so far, chapter 1, 2, and 3, they're so good. This show, The Mandalorian, is so good. You kind of want more of it, instead of just 37 minutes. So, but that's just my 2 cents on it. Let me know your thoughts about today's episode. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Um, what criticisms you have about it? And what do you hope the story where do you hope the story would go from this point forward for the Mandalorian, now that he has his baby Yoda back? um what does this mean? Because in the episode today, he keeps getting reminded that the empire's gone, Darth Vader's dead, right? And this is long before um, First Order or Kylo Ren arrives. So, what does this mean now that the Mandalorian has Baby Yoda back? So, let me know your thoughts about or and theories about this in the comment section below. And as always, subscribe to my channel, press that like button, ring that bell, and if you can help support this channel, please do so at patreon.com/Rama Screen. Ooh, I'm still waking up, man. Woo. Let's rock this.